people are patriotic about various things. So you can think about like you have like some kind of stag, and what is like on the what is your top thing that you are most patriotic about, for some people it couldn't be country, for others it can be city, like for example, when people are criticizing San Francisco, like the downfall of the city, or like the crime wave and homelessness crisis, addiction crisis, even now the commercial real estate crisis. And so other people get offended, and Balaji kind of observed like, okay, that's kind of strange, because why they get offended, and actually it's because like they, for example, they love the city.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another new episode of Mtambo, Desk Podcast. My name is Jakub Mtambo, and today I have the pleasure of talking again with Jakub Simek, a co-founder of Se2 and an author of Wisdom Enterprising. With Jakub, we'll discuss on the identity stack and how people are patriotic about different things, places, and networks. Jakub, once again, welcome to Mtambo Desk Podcast.
Hi, Duke. It's a pleasure to talk to you.
Well, today we are going to delve into a fascinating article you wrote recently. You mentioned how social media has evolved over time from people proudly showcasing their local affiliations to becoming, network patriotic. Can you maybe tell us more about this shift?
Yeah, it's it's like Twitter is like the global battleground of ideas, and it's like a global fight club for intellectuals, says Balaji. But it before it at the beginning, the social media were kind of considered for a long time as just kind of like a hobby or pastime, just like people posting their breakfasts or something. Even like Balaji was quite late to enter the arena of Twitter. He kind of didn't get the power of social media at first, because he thought like it's kind of silly, like people posting their breakfasts. But then once he saw like a thread of someone live tweeting from a conference, some kind of scientific conference. He kind of like understood like, okay, this is quite powerful, because like that person like wrote like the main points from the conference, and it kind of saved him a flight ticket, to some, or like 2 days that he would spend on a conference. And similarly, like social media like Facebook or Twitter, MySpace before, they were kind of just like for people to showcase their hobbies, their kind
lifestyle,
of like what they like, their lifestyle. And so you had like something like Balaji explains this example, like you have a Twitter bio, which is like a very limited real estate, kind of like a limited space where you can like put your bio. And so what would you put there, and before, people used to write some like local affiliations, like hi, I'm Jakub from Bratislava, I'm a father and I love football, or something like that, and some local team, let's say, supporting, or some, or let's say some band or something like that. And over time it kind of morphed into some kind of like more a global fight club. And so you have like people like putting, I don't know, hashtag Bitcoin, hashtag BLM, some like various kind of movements, so it's like
and actually
various flags, various movements. So
and actually Balaji recently tweeted about it, like when Twitter was also launching, or also was becoming a hot space. It was also when US was having their elections, so it became more of a political space, influencing elections. And actually saying right now is like Bitcoin is like the Twitter moment of Bitcoin at this moment, because now political leaders are using Bitcoin to get into their campaigns, and so yeah, that was cool. Cool tweet.
Yeah. I think the Kennedy guy, yeah, Robert Kennedy
Yeah.
is he's running as a Democrat for president, challenging Biden. So yeah, and he was like talking nice things about Bitcoin. So it's like he's a
Yeah.
Bitcoiner. That's funny because yeah, I mean, before you get like these mayors or various like even some conservatives like saying like they're for God. Bitcoin. It's cool, like in the US, like in the previous elections, but now you have like a presidential candidate, so it's nice. I mean, it's good. What a time to be alive. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
But like, okay, it's just like, but yeah, getting to the idea of the identity stack, as you said, like people are patriotic about various things, so you kind of think about like you have like some kind of stack, and what is like on the what is your top thing that you are most
Mhm.
patriotic about. For some people it couldn't be country, for others it can be city. Like for example, when people are criticizing San Francisco, like the downfall of the city, or like the crime wave and homelessness crisis, addiction crisis, even now the commercial real estate crisis. And so other people get offended, and Balaji kind of observed like, okay, that's kind of strange because why they get offended. And actually it's because like they, for example, they love the city, they have the city as like on the top of their identity stake, like they are from San Francisco and they just like really love the Golden Bridge. And so, and for others it's just like, yeah, I mean, they just care about different things, like they care about, let's say, Bitcoin, but they don't care about the city they stay. I mean, they can stay in any city, just like move places without some emotional attachment to those places. So it's like, yeah, we are different people, and it's like an interesting kind of model. Like,
Mhm.
what's the highest on your identity stack? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fascinating, Jakub. It seems like our identity have become increasingly fragmented into mimetic tribes, with each person proudly showcasing their affiliations. And as you have said, Balaji Srinivasan also mentioned how people can be patriotic about different things, be it countries, cities, currents, bands, or even programming language, just as you have mentioned just a moment ago. But do you think this splintering of identity has any consequences for society?
I mean, yeah, it's yeah, I mean, it's like it kind of goes back to the Balaji's thesis about the decentralization in the West. Like the peak centralization was in the 1950s, where you had like just like a few TV stations, few newspapers that people read, and just like two superpowers, like USSR and USA. And because of this big centralization happened because until then you had like centralizing technologies like the printing press, radio, television. They have like a broadcast modality, so you have like a one person at the top of a hierarchy, or let's say some a TV host or op-ed writer, like opinion, yeah, like a journalist writing for like a big legacy newspaper, some prestige press kind of outlet. And they are able to influence like lots of people, like millions. And those people, they can like I don't know, swear at their TV, but like nobody is hearing them. So you had like the freedom of speech, but not the freedom of reach. And also there were these sayings like, don't argue with the person who buys ink by the barrel, or yeah, so these kind of things. Like, so like basically it was like prohibitively expensive to own a TV license, or to buy a TV license. So you couldn't run your YouTube channel. There was no internet back then, and you could just stand outside somewhere and scream something, but people might think you are crazy, or just like give out leaflets. But even in the USSR, or in the Soviet bloc, you had like a lock. You had like the copiers were locked, under a lock. So it was like even just to copy things, where it was like really difficult. Like, okay, you could probably. They were like this, we call them samizdat, so it means like some kind of like underground magazines. You could produce like some kind of like, I don't know, bootleg, or what's the name for it, like some kind of underground magazine probably, but the circulation and the distribution would be quite low, and so therefore these technologies were centralizing, but the transistor, the internet, the personal computer before, and then the internet, and then the mobile phone, and now crypto. These are all like decentralizing technologies, and so they can make like the communities. They also fragment communities. So we are like before Putnam, I think it was in the 90s, he wrote, or late 80s, I don't know, early 90s, I don't remember. Actually, the book is called The Bowling Alone.
Oh, Bowling
now
Alone,
Balaji, yeah. Now Balaji says that we are actually bowling alone, but posting together, so people are kind of like creating some kind of, memetic tribes, as you mentioned. It's a term by Peter Limberg. So it's like he has this article, Cultural War 2.0, and he mentions their memetic tribes. So you have, let's say, 100, maybe a few dozens back then. Now it's even like more, and these tribes are kind of splintering or fragmenting, alongside what Balaji calls, or he quotes Scott Alexander, and he calls it like scissor statements. So you can have, let's say, for example, you can have like two people, they like crypto, but one only likes like Bitcoin and anything else. So he's like the mononymist, like just believing in one coin. And let's say someone might like Bitcoin and Ethereum, but they don't like Solana. So you can like do the scissor statement, like Solana, yes, no. And and you can split the group in half. Let's say you have like four people, and two like Solana, and two don't like Solana, and then now you have only two people, and and you can say like Ethereum, yes or no, and then you split them again, like just like into a Bitcoiner and Ethereum guy, let's say, into Solana guys. So I mean, this kind of tribalism, it's well and alive also in crypto. And so sometimes it's just like it's this notion of asabiya by the guy is called Ibn Khalid. I think let me check. I totally messed up his name, but it's called Asabiya. Uh, just just a second. Yeah. I don't think I can Google it very quickly. Balaji is a super Googler, but I anyhow I have to anyhow so it's asabiya, and it's a concept by sorry so it's called asabiya, and it's Ibn Khaldun. Okay, so that's his name. So it's basically it's like when you have like a external threat, let's say the SEC wants to regulate crypto or something. So now the people, they have like the external threat, so they can now they can unite around some cause, because they see like if you like don't have the external enemy, you start to, I don't know, fight with your cousins and then
Yeah.
with your brother or something, but once you kind of like see the external threat, that's what actually unites the tribe. So it's also kind of interesting point here. So maybe like we had some kind of like good years. People were just like bored online, so they were like fighting a lot together. But like, let's say if you have like some external threat, let's say the Fed is attacking crypto, or SEC, or some like other regulators. So now you kind of you can unite around something. So now suddenly it's not like just like some infighting Solana versus Ethereum or something like that, but it's like more kind of like, are you pro freedom? Are you pro every user is a root user, something like that, or are you not? So are you for a dollar or are you for Bitcoin? So and we discussed before that the Bitcoin becomes like a shelling point there, like the most known crypto, the original crypto. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think I couldn't agree more, Jakub, because I think it's happening even right now. We will see where Senator Karen already, trying to launch a war against, Bitcoin, and now people are not more of, I'm a pro Solana, I'm a pro Bitcoin. We are now united fighting against Karen, Senator Karen, or fighting against Federal Reserve. So it's interesting to see how digital platforms have allowed us to assume digital native identities based on these affiliations. But Balaji also mentioned the concept of network patriotism, leading to the emergence of crypto countries or network states. Maybe could you briefly explain about this concept of network patriotism?
Yeah, right. So like you have this idea of you have like geosphere, and you have then a noosphere. It's like the original idea comes from this like philosopher and also like a French priest, Pierre de Chardin. I think it actually was like 100 years ago. He came up with this concept of noosphere, which is like the sphere of minds. So it's not a geosphere, like a geological like land, but he was thinking about something like a cloud, so you have like minds in the cloud, or you have like the common ideologies, and you have like some global community. And if you like Balaji kind of has this metaphor that if you put community on steroids, you get like a nation, kind of, because it's like he has like some kind of quantitative definition of nation. So it's like a densely connected graph, so it's like some kind of like subgraph of a network, and it's like a highly dense or dense like connected graph. Even like the ideal case would be something like a complete graph where it's like almost everyone kind of like knows each other, so you have like a highly connected, highly aligned community, and it can become a nation. So it's like a community on steroids, basically. And so you could let's see how this will work. But like Balaji kind of thinks like, you could create like these like reverse diasporas, something like uh, Israel, how Israel was created from the book, by Theodor Herzl. He had like this book, Judenstaat, I think that's the name. So like the Jewish state was the name of the book, and he came up with with the fund. So he had like a venture fund or something now you would call it, but he had like a biannual conference and a fund, and so he was like funding people, ideas. He was like getting people together, and he kind of today you would call it like. Yeah, you would say that he larped it into existence, or he memed it into an existence. And yeah, and then some people were kind of like joking or something that, okay, but why did he could have chosen like some another country, let's say, because there was like Madagascar, Argentina, and some other places like that. So maybe Argentina would be more peaceful, I don't know. This is just like a yeah, but that's like one of inspirations of Balaji, but he also finds inspiration like for his book, The Network State, in the US Constitution, then also in Singapore, because it's like a CEO founder kind of, he was the Singapore was founded by Lee Kuan Yew. So it's like another inspiration. And he has a couple of more, so yeah, the US, Singapore, and maybe special innovation zones, something like special economic zones actually done by China. That could be another inspiration. But like going back to the community or the network patriotism, yeah, so you could be kind of let's see how it will play out, but you could get patriotic about some kind of something like CrossFit or veganism or a keto diet, something like probably the keto diet was something that was invented on internet, it's just like, or you have this paleo, these different kind of things. So like, yeah, and somewhere in the article, I also kind of mentioned like this, like 7 lively virtues, like something like the opposite of 7 deadly sins. So like, imagine you could yeah, you could probably you could create like some startups societies around like these like 1 commandments focused on like the opposite of these 7 deadly sins. So you would like I don't know, focus on so there is like one, for example, like keeping down with the Joneses. So it's like a funny name because it's like the saying is, or the it's like, I don't know if it's a metaphor, it's a saying. It's called like keeping up with the Joneses. Is like people who try to like compete with their neighbors. So let's say if the neighbor gets like a bit better car, you also want to get a bit better car. It's kind of like so it's like keeping up with the Joneses. But like now the opposite would be like keeping down with the Joneses, like keeping the costs down with the Joneses. So for example, you would be like bulk buying together, like a crowdsourcing or crowdfunding some kind of material or products, or let's say food with as a community, and you could like buy it in bulk and save. So it's like the saving society, like people who like to save and who like to kind of like buy good quality to value for money kind of things. So yeah, that's like an idea, but I don't know if you can create a nation out of savers. But like, yeah, but probably some people can be like have this as a important value in their identity stack. I don't know.
I think that's truly remarkable, Jakub. Let's see how things fall out, or things goes in the next near future, But Balaj also emphasizes the need for a moral stack as a layer 0 for full stack Web3 engineers. In the Web3 era, it's not just about building what people want, but also considering moral foundations. How do you see this shift playing out in the startup world?
Yeah. So Yeah, I mean, this is a bit different concept, but I also mention it in the article because it's like sounds similar, right? So it's like identity stack. It's just like what are the priorities, like in your identity? Like I don't know, are you from Voi or Bratislava, and that's like the very high in your identity stack, or are you a programmer or Bitcoiner? But a bit related concept is like the moral stack or the layer zero. So it's like the yeah, I mean that's like the moral fabric of let's say of your or the moral justification for why you are let's say starting a startup or launching a startup. And so if you, as Balaji says, like if you want to be you need to be like a full stack developer, meaning like also have this like moral justification for everything you do, like in Web3 or in crypto, because that's like a bit different from, let's say, Y Combinator, like the first startup incubator, like in 2005 was launched by Paul Graham and his wife, and it's very successful, but they had the motto of like build things that people want, or build things that people like, something like that. Okay,
Make
like
things people want.
make things people want. Yeah, exactly. So which is like great, it's good, but it doesn't have like this kind of like it's not so ideological compared to let's say crypto or Bitcoin. It was like a build, like in the Genesis blog you have the critique of 2008 financial crisis, and the critique of the whole like fiat system and the global financial system. So like these crypto companies, they have like this moral critique or moral justification like baked in their identity. So it's like that's the moral stack. Like let's say if people attack you actually falsely, like attack Bitcoin as being like unecological or something, you can just like you need to get facts, and you need to show them that actually, if you look at the Bitcoin Lightning, which is like a layer 2, it's like maybe million times more effective than your bank teller, and it's just like, I don't know, it takes like 5 days to, let's say, to send money from Kenya to Slovakia or vice versa. And it takes like seconds or minutes by Bitcoin Lightning, or less than a minute. And obviously there are not some middlemen or some people or institutions that pay high salaries and need to pay for heating and office space. They are not involved in this transaction. It's peer to peer, so it's kind of like a thing you can just do really, like anyone can calculate on back of the envelope kind of calculation, that this is more ecological, and even like Bitcoin itself is more ecological than the banks, but it's with the layer 2 like Bitcoin Lightning, it's like, I don't know, a millionfold probably. Yeah. So that's like the moral justification. And then also I write there about like global stack. That's also kind of like another concept, and it's basically you can have like various jurisdictions where you operate, and you make like this jurisdictional arbitrage or longitudinal arbitrage as well.
Even on the same, Balaji proposes the idea of 7 lively virtues for startup society, where immediate benefits should be aligned with the ethical considerations. Startups need to be, considerations startups need to go beyond the 7 deadly sins used in the past to hook users, and instead focus on creating tangible benefits that promote, societal well-being. But it's clear that we are entering an era where technology, morality, and global governance must converge. And Balaji suggests that the importance of global stack, as you've mentioned, of crypto-friendly and tech-friendly distribution. Could you maybe expand on why global stack is crucial for the success of pro-tech and protect crypto communities and crypto countries?
You're right. So, because that's like your kind of defense as a crypto founder, that you are kind of ready to pack your things and leave, says Balaji, like, so that's the exit, like, because if you can't, let's say, change the jurisdiction, or let's say if the jurisdiction suddenly gets like unfriendly towards founders, it's something like the finance people are also used to this, so they like move places. And and there was like this critique that it's like a ruthless cosmopolitanism or something, and then elsewhere, like in another article, like we discussed, and also on the pod, like the concept of like a rooted, not ruthless, but like rooted cosmopolitanism, where actually you can be rooted in like a couple of places at the same time. You can have like close friends relationships, let's say, in Slovakia, in Kenya, in the UK, in France, like, so it's just like basically you're not just like a tourist, just like, I don't know, sleeping at the hotels, but like you have some deeper relationships in many places. So that's like the kind of like idea of rooted cosmopolitanism. And then, like what we came up with, like just in the other article, it's like the root cosmopolitanism. It's like not just rooted, but it's like basically crypto allows you to be root cosmopolitan, meaning like, every user is a root user, so you don't need to ask like for permission, just let's say to interact with people from around the world. So you can just like do permissionless transactions. So it's like also like again like a play on words, but like it's basically it's something, in other words, what Balaji calls or says, like that the there was no true global trade before crypto, meaning like before you would set up like some kind of intermediaries, let's say, like I don't know, like a Delaware company, or let's say you would go to Mauritius to set up like some kind of company. If you want to invest in India, or you would set up like a company in Hong Kong. But if you want to invest in China, you would set up a company in Hong Kong. Or let's say, you set up a company in Rwanda to business, or in East Africa, or in Kenya for that matter. But like with smart contracts, you could do like peer to peer. Like let's say, it's like DAOs are global in the same way as like email is a global protocol, so it looks the same. Like the email kind of address looks the same if you are, I don't know, from Africa or Europe or the US. So it's kind of, yeah, it's like the internationalist and capitalist kind of thing, and the crypto is like the V3 or the version 3 of these. Like it enables something that was not possible before, like or it brings it on a completely different level. Because before, let's say, Balaji said, like if you had like a Brazilian company and like, I don't know, and a Bangladeshi company, usually they would set up like some kind of intermediary, let's say in the US or in the China, or I don't know, in the EU, just because like to work out all the legal affairs and like kind of like of their business, or they would trade in dollars, this kind of thing. And now, like with blockchains and with global open and global protocols, you could you could code, the law becomes code. So it's like you can code it like in smart contracts. So, and it kind of, yeah. But going back to the yeah, like the global stack, meaning like probably, it's basically it's like something what Brian Armstrong is doing now in Dubai, or some people are like, can we move Silicon Valley to Dubai? So it's like kind of they before they moved it to Miami, but like
Yeah.
now they are also like trying to, I don't know, just like, it's maybe it's good to have more places like Silicon Valley, not just one. So it's like the decentralization, if like the Miami is, I guess it's great, but Dubai might be good for many other like reasons. Let's say it's also the different time zone, longitudinal arbitrage, but probably it's outside of the US, it's offshore. So it's also Coinbase, like they were like really like patriotic about the US, and the US dynamism, like on all these kind of like these memes, which I mean, they are great. I mean, but you see, if there are clouds on the horizon, you probably want to decentralize and you want to go offshore. I mean, it's good to be patriotic, but it's also good to choose exit when when you need. Like Elon Musk, he left for Texas, so I don't know, it's something similar.
Yeah, I think the question we need to ask is not just can we build it, or will they buy it like in the previous era. It's now about will they ban it. And that's why we're having a global stack of jurisdiction.
Yeah, will they ban it? Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's truly a paradigm shift, Jakub, and thank you so much for sharing your insight on this evolving landscape of identity, technological nation building. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to talk to you. It was great to talk to you.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. We hope you enjoyed the conversation with Jakub Simek. Please don't forget to subscribe, give this episode a thumbs up, and be sure to come back next week for another episode. Until then, this is Mtambo, and don't forget to do good always.